get to the mock draft. I think this is what people are going to be looking for. I'll go ahead and timestamp this one too, so people can know and kind of can skip towards this if they want to. How do you want to do this? Do you want to do 1, 2, 3, or do you want to just do what we did before, where like I get one and you do what you do and I do what I do? How do you want to kind of make this happen?
We can go rotate. I
Okay,
think,
cool.
and
That'd be
then what we'll
quicker.
do is you can go odds. I'll do evens. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. Yes, that
Oh,
is
you
actually perfect because I
okay?
actually have a trade that I wanted to, that I actually mocked and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Okay, cool. So first pick overall, I mean, this is easy. I have Caleb Williams. Do you want to do a Caleb Williams little stint real quick based upon his pivot interview, or do you want to just leave that for later episodes?
I mean, we can while it's fresh.
Yeah, because okay, so during the Caleb Williams interviews, there was a lot of throwing a lot of his teammates under the bus as well as his coaches under the bus. And it just felt kind of disingenuous. I don't know if people have seen it, but Caleb Williams is the presumptual #1 overall pick, or the consistent #1 overall pick, I guess is a better word, to the Bears. And I'm not, no one's denying his talent ability, but one of the things that kind of I've been kind of questioning him about is his ability to kind of overcome adversity. And during his interview, they asked him about it, and he brought up some examples of him getting benched, as well as him coming to Oklahoma while Spencer Rattler was there, and him ultimately beating out Spencer Rattler once Spencer got benched. But I don't really say that as heavy adversity. I don't know, just the whole interview, and I hope people get a chance to watch it before they watch this clip. But just the whole interview, was kind of disingenuous in terms of his ability to get people to like him, like in the locker room. And I think that's the biggest thing for a quarterback, especially when you're #1 overall pick. Like he's already talking about going to Chicago, being Chicago, and I know all the mocks say it, and I know we live in a different time and day and age where like you can kind of be more comfortable speaking freely about that kind of stuff, but it kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. As if I was his teammate and I've been in the league for 8 years, even if I'm a backup quarterback, I'm like this dude hasn't done anything I've done in this league. So do you have any thoughts you want to add to that, or any different opinions to that?
Some of the notes that I had on watching the pivot interview, because I wasn't going to watch it, and then you guys talked me into it. Um, the first thing was he threw his team defense under the bus. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback do that before. Okay, full disclosure, I'm obviously a different generation than this kid, so there's that coming in, right? But I thought football was like the ultimate team sport, and the quarterback was there to, give praise when the team wins to other people and then take blame when they lose. Like that's kind of dumbing it down. That's what I thought the position was about. This kid, Ryan Clark is talking to him about his defense being really bad. And he's just like, and I'm like, whoa. I was like, that was a red flag for me. Um, he threw the head coach under the bus when there was a play call he didn't like, and he was going back and forth. And I was like, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And
Yeah,
then
me neither.
also he talked about Lincoln Riley starting Spencer Rattler over him when Spencer Rattler was the presumptive #1 pick in the NFL draft. We know
Yeah,
how it played out, but I mean, understand this is what
and Ryan Clark
he
even
went into. And then in the same interview, he tells the people interviewing him, that he was upset that the coach in his high school team started his son at quarterback and not him. And I'm like, hold on, like, so you're upset that situation because it happened to you, but you're not upset. I don't know. That one confused me.
yeah.
Whatever. Um. So yeah, I thought it personally, just coming from different generation. I think probably maybe it's okay with the kids now, but I just find it's if he's gonna do that in the NFL, I think it's gonna be some. It's gonna bring some issues. I personally do. It kind of I think guess the first thing that came to my mind was Kyler Murray, how Larry Fitzgerald and some of the vets, Patrick Peterson and them, they
Yeah.
were a little off put by some of the stuff Kyler was doing. just because there is a difference in age groups, I guess. So that could be an issue coming with Keenan Allen, who's been in the league forever now. DJ Moore, some of the veteran guys who just have a different mentality on what to do from the quarterback position, right? And I just don't know. And then yeah, I mean, I get he's going number one. All power to him. I wish him the best of luck. But I kind of wish the Bears had more of a discussion with the quarterback available if they're going to improve it. And this makes me, if I was in the locker room, I would have backed Justin Fields 100% because if I'm choosing these two.
Yeah, and you're getting the reason why. So I'm gonna share a screen real quick from Chris Mortensen.
Okay.
Rest in peace. But this is what apparently someone said about Kyler Murray.
Oh, no way.
Murray is.
I swear I've heard this before. I can, yeah.
Murray is described as self-centered, immature, and finger points. And Murray is frustrated with franchise and was embarrassed, but whatever, right? But
yeah,
just highlighting these factors, this is how we're describing. Oops. This is how we're describing Caleb Williams. I mean, literally, these are the three words that describe Kyler Murray. I'm sorry, describe Caleb Williams. What do these guys have in common? Well,
that's really interesting.
I mean, they have coaches who kind of just see their role as a more of a partner than an actual coach, like an advisor. Like Kyler Murray was coached.
They were coached by both Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, that's kind of the conclusion I'm kind of drawing here.
Interesting.
And Lincoln Riley, I'm not saying that he hasn't developed franchise level quarterbacks. Kyler Murray's not a franchise level quarterback. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that these guys, Baker Mayfield too, had to get humbled as well. Remember, he came in the league thinking that he was hot shot, and he got humbled very fast. And Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams, and all three of them have great college careers. They were all three Heisman winners. We're not saying that they were bad quarterbacks. We're not saying that they're gonna have bad careers. Listen, Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray have both gotten a second contract, so it's proven that they can be franchise level quarterbacks. But one thing that triggers with this is that you have so much invested in this pick, where you brought in Keenan, you brought in you brought in DJ Moore from last year, you brought in DeAndre Swift. You're bringing all these high-powered guys in, guys who won, guys who have competed and who have played at a high level, and guys who have won at a high level. And you get a guy like Kyler Murray, who, from my perspective, is a little bit of self-centered and kind of egotistic. That doesn't match. That doesn't match well for me. So I know we got some more picks to get to, but I don't know if you have any last thoughts on just this now seeing that tweet. I don't know if you have any last thoughts on that.
No, it kind of puts me now. I'm curious if I haven't heard, but I know USC had a 5-star quarterback that left like right after the season, Malachi Nelson.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if he saw something where it's something, I don't know, I don't want to say wrong, but a potential issue or conflict with something that's the reason he left. Like, in seeing how USC was so quarterback driven, it seemed like there's some wide receivers that are pretty decent at USC last year, and we're told by the media and honestly by USC, these guys are trash, and it's just Caleb playing with bums.
Yeah,
and we're like Marshawn Lloyd's going to get drafted. Washington's going to get drafted.
Brandon Rice
is going to get drafted. It's like, holy smokes, these guys. I'm not saying they were five.
I mean, he had
they weren't Odunze, but so it's interesting. But let's we for time's sake, we should probably move on to
number 2. Who do you have the Commanders taking here? Depending on what you do is going to determine my number 3 pick.
Am I doing the draft like what I would do, or what?
Yes, you are the Commanders GM. What are you doing at this pick? The pick is on.
Yeah. All right, there's been a trade.
Wow.
Are we doing trades? Can we do trades?
Yeah. Because I have a trade too, so hopefully it's not the same trade that I have. And we have not talked about this.
The Raiders
Oh
The Raiders
wow,
are coming up. The Raiders are coming up.
wow,
The Raiders are coming up, and they're gonna select Jaden Daniels.
wow. So I'm gonna share my screen again one more time just so I can kind of show people that I literally have this. I literally have the Raiders trading up for the number 3 overall pick and getting Jaden Daniels too. So, I guess you stole that from me. So,
Yeah,
um,
I think honestly,
let's
I think
yeah,
Antonio Pierce is gonna do whatever it takes to get this kid.
yeah,
Whether
I
it's three,
agree.
4, I
You
think
don't
he's
think
gonna go all in because I think he really feels we're a quarterback away. And then just
so?
in case it doesn't work out, we have Minshew. But I think he really wants to
Aiden
be now with.
O'Connell. You don't think the Commanders go for Drake May or even Jason McCarthy? And also let's talk about Jaden Daniels too, because I think he was on the pivot too. I don't know if you saw his episode, but I don't want
I
to.
missed it, but
Yeah, so Jaden Daniels, he actually was the total opposite of what I thought he was gonna be. I thought he was gonna be more centered on himself, and he's the opposite. This dude probably is out of all the quarterbacks that I've heard talk this offseason or this I guess drafts situation, he's probably the most self-aware as well as just selfless teammate that exists. And I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a franchise level quarterback. I think he might be. I don't have my thoughts with JJ McCarthy, but I haven't heard really JJ McCarthy speak too much in interviews and whatnot, so I can't really give a good guidance on him. I'm more of talking about McCarthy mainly just because of the the Harbaugh tree. So, but with Jalen Mills, I just don't see him failing. And I don't see and if he does fail, I can see him like overcoming it like with ease because he's had to overcome adversity. Like they asked him overcoming adversity, leaving Arizona State, going to LSU, having to learn a whole new offense, not feeling pressure to leave early last year and go into the draft, being able to kind of work on what he needs to work on his skill set wise and as well as just his leadership skills. And then him, ultimately come back and win the Heisman that shows me that listen, this guy can play, but he can also overcome adversity. And that's one of the biggest things as a quarterback you have to do. Like you have
did they
to get up
did they
after that
ask him
sack.
about his trash defense at all?
They
Because
did,
their offense, their
but
defense was really
but
bad too.
I,
I want to know
I
how
I
if he
gotta go
thought his
back.
defense
I
was good
gotta go
was.
back to what he said, but I do remember them asking about the defense because a lot of the games there was high scoring. He's like, yeah, we had to go back and
Yeah,
forth a lot, but I I'm pretty sure his answer was team oriented because he didn't throw anyone under the bus. Matter of fact, he kind of elevated Malik Nabers and Brian Thomas' name a lot in that
yeah,
in that pivot interview. Like he elevated his teammates more than he put them down, and that's something that I look at. Like even with I know we're still at Daniel, so I'll kind of stop here. But even with McCarthy, like he is a team first oriented quarterback, and that's what you want. You don't want a guy who's just all about me. Like Mahomes, he's not like that. He is team oriented. Like I know people are comparing Caleb Williams to Mahomes, but Mahomes has never shown an inch of him being I guess he has with the Josh Allen situation last year with the BS call, but that was like the first thing where we just saw okay, he's human. Like he kind of has an
sure.
ego to him. He didn't want to lose to the Bills. He has an ego driven. He's egotistic a little bit. But even that, like so that just kind of gives you a good glimpse of it's hard to take that. It's hard to get that out of him. So
Yeah,
but yeah, go
I
ahead.
just think
Yeah.
I just think my reasoning behind it. I think the Raiders want to do it, and they're outbidding teams like the Vikings and stuff. But also, I think from the Commanders' perspective, I'm just thinking the team that Adam Peters came from, um, 49ers, they picked a quarterback high, and it would have
Yeah.
set them back if not for Purdy. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to try to build that roster out, and I don't think the coach is going to be against this move because he's someone who's a defensive minded guy. And if they can get a defensive player in this draft to help out his defense, I think that's where their team building starts. And then Cliff can kind of put things together for the offense to make it work. So I just think from a team building perspective, I don't. We'll see. I mean, obviously, but I just in my gut, I think McDaniel's. Sorry, McDaniel's. Daniels and the Raiders. McDaniels was just there, sorry. But that'd be funny.
Yeah, I agree. I think Daniels has probably one of the higher potentials in this draft. Okay, number 3 pick is the Patriots. Now, I had them Patriots drafting a quarterback here, and we've had this conversation on this podcast before, so I guess there's no reason to kind of keep it going. But I have them going with a guy like Drake May. I would not be surprised if they did trade out of here. But I think the Patriots didn't have had chances to trade up in that draft with when they drafted Mac Jones. They just didn't. They could have traded up for Justin Fields. They could have traded up for Trey Lance. They could have traded up for an earlier pick, for a top 10 quarterback. And I mean, it to their point, it worked out for the best because that was probably one of the worst QB drafts of all time. But they had chances to kind of trade up. I think they are looking for a QB franchise quarterback. And I think we have two different opinions on how to kind of build out a quarterback, how to build out a roster. Like you're more like, hey, like the Commanders route, building out the team and then drafting a quarterback. But I think, in my opinion, I think the Patriots cannot pass up on missing out on a quarterback. They just can't. They've missed out on too many over the past few years, especially with the Brady lingering, Jimmy G being traded away. There's just
So who do
been
they
a
go?
lot of answers. I got him going Drake May.
Wow.
Got
Wow.
him
I
going Drake
thought it
May.
was setting up for McCarthy. I really was. I was like, wow, is he going
Now,
McCarthy?
I am doing yes, yeah. So personally, if I'm the Patriots, I need a quarterback that I can kind of trust to make plays by himself. And I think Jaden Daniels would have been my pick personally, for them. Obviously, I had the Raiders
Yeah.
trading up for this pick, but I don't think McCarthy is a guy that can make plays with his feet as well as Drake May. And in that AFC East division, when it gets cold, when the ball gets slippery, when you're going up against Josh Allen, you need a 3rd and 4 conversion, and no one's open. You need to run for it. Like I can't not dismiss Drake May here. I just can't.
Well, I think I love that pick. I think that's going to be the pick in my head. Especially considering the Pacers are used to seeing Josh Allen 2 times a year.
Yeah,
They got their own guy now. So I think I like that a lot.
perfect. All right,
Number
your turn
4?
now. Number 4. There's another
Yeah,
trade
so
or
I
what?
think no, man. I think this one, if 2 or 3 wasn't quarterback, I think now we're talking trade here. But I mean, this one, I feel like it's been mocked since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
I don't personally. I know you think Neighbors is better. I'm not going to disagree. I think the better fit though, um, and especially we were talking about Kyler being self-centered and stuff. You need someone who can kind of be an adult in the room, and I think they missed that with Larry Fitzgerald
Mm-hmm.
being gone for the last couple of years.
I agree.
Let's go ahead and bring in Marvin Harrison, who can provide that adult in the room. And he's only like 21 years old, but he's probably going to be the most professional guy on the team right away. So, I'm speaking from the offense, given that Kyler and maybe Connor, but
Yeah.
they got a young guys, McBride at tight end. The receivers still young and more, and so yeah, I think Marvin's
I think
the
they got rid of
immediate.
Rondale Moore and
Oh,
Marquise
never
Brown.
mind. Sorry, guys,
But to your point,
but
though,
but
I know. To
Marvin's
your
the
point,
guy that that's even more.
I
They need a
understand.
receiver even more.
They need a receiver. They just need a receiver. I think Neighbors, or Harrison is going to be a great choice here. I even have the Cardinals going Marvin Harrison just because of his ceiling, and also just like you said, he has been there before, the expectations and whatnot, and I think he's ready to go now. What do you think? So I guess I'll go. I guess I'll ask a question after I pick here. But
Mhm.
number 5, I have the Chargers going with Malik Nabers. I think this has been mocked for a while. I know in my last mock in the AFC West previous, someone may drop in, but hey, you said you got the Chargers going with Joel Alt just because you think Harbaugh is going to draft offensive line. There's been a lot of reports about Joel Ott maybe not being the guy he has. He's like he's highlighted to be. I listened to Middle Cost podcast 3 and Out. Shout out to Middle Cost on 3 and Out, and he kind of he kind of threw something out there where he's a big body guy. He's going against undersized, players, so it makes him look better than what he is. Do you want a guy
Namers?
that no. Joel R. I'm talking about Joel R right now.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I think with Neighbors, I think you get a sure thing. And I don't think there's any other there's more of a sure thing besides Neighbors at this position at this moment, and you can't pass it up. So I have the Chargers going with Malik Nabers here.
See, this is where I think we differ. I think this is the spot where the Vikings now come in, and this is where McCarthy goes. That's just my opinion. I think they want to jump the Giants.
Yeah.
They think the Giants.
I don't think the Giants are going to draft a receiver.
I don't think so.
I mean a quarterback.
No. I think the Giants are playing it perfect.
Daniel Jones are bust,
I think they're putting it out there that they want this guy. But I think, in all seriousness, who they really want is the guy you got at 5. I think they're trying to get the Vikings come up, give the Chargers something they can't refuse, because we know they had a lot of roster turnover, and they have a lot of holes to fill. Vikings come up, get their guy in McCarthy, and then 6 would be the Giants getting Malik Nabers. But
wow,
in this world we live in right now, that didn't happen. So now the Giants are stuck. They're like, who do we get here? Who do we get here? Do we go McCarthy and let all the smoke out? But I don't think so. They still have that trash quarterback for another year, and they made the playoffs with the trash quarterback with a bad schedule, because they had bottom place schedule. They're gonna get another one of those. They're gonna get another one of those this year, because they're bad this year, so they'll get a bad schedule. So they're gonna have a chance to win some more games than they did last year. Still think they need a receiver. So Odunze, start looking for real estate in New York, my friend. You are a New York Giant in this world. I just think it's too good of a wide receiver to pass up for right now. I know they have holes on the offensive line, and I told you guys in prior stuff, I believe in building a team from inside out. But I just think from the weapons that they have, they paid Thomas on the line.
Andrew Thomas,
they
have Evan Neal. So I don't think they need a protection there. Yeah, I agree with that pick. I think they're going to for sure go for an offensive guy. I would not be surprised if they go Brock Bowers, especially depending on what Darren Waller does.
They haven't had a tight end since Jeremy Shockey. I said it.
Yeah, Darren Waller. I don't know what's going on with him. Like I got him in fantasy football, and that dude said that he's going to retire. The reports of him retiring. I have no idea. All right, number 7 pick. I got Joel Alt going to the Titans. I think I'm looking at PFF, and I did some research before I did this mock. So PFF left tackle allowed the highest pressure over the past 2 seasons, and
this would be perfect.
152. And I think this is gonna be this is like one of those picks where, like, looking back on it, it's like the Lions when they drafted Penei Sewell. It's like, oh, yeah, I would have drafted him too at that pick, like best player available type of thing, and like a big need. And this could be their kind of foundation piece in terms of building over that new tenure that they're looking to build over, overpaying players, and trying to get some wins in. Okay, so what do you have at 8?
At 8, I think a lot of the media wants to pick Dallas Turner here. That's what I think that's a lot of people are saying.
He's a freak.
That's what they tell me, right? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I just think when you look at somebody like the Rams, they because I'm looking at the Rams defense and what they were able to do.
Okay.
They had a lot of guys from the secondary, and they kind of filled in spots. They got people late. I know they had Ramsey, but a lot of times they had just like random people playing in the secondary, and they were really good. Like, they're really good secondary. So I think Raheem can the coach there, I think he'll do fine secondary. So I don't think that's where they go on defense. I think they want a guy like Aaron Donald. And this guy, he's not Aaron Donald, I know. It's going to shock a lot of people, Joseph. I know, but I think they're going Jer'Zhan Newton, Illinois.
Jer'Zhan Newton. Oh, that's a big
huge risk. I think it's a huge reach.
Oh,
but
wow.
I think that's what they go. Get your interior lineman. Let's start building that defense, because we spent a lot of money on offense already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe they trade down, maybe, and then they, maybe someone trades up for them.
I thought about it, but I just didn't see a
But
dancing partner.
yeah, I mean, well, with you, I mean, I think here's what I'm going with number 9 pick. So number 9 is the Bears, obviously.
Yeah,
I think, and Jer'Zhan McCarthy's still available. I know in your draft you have the Raiders taking Jaden Daniels trading up here, so the Bears really have nobody here kind of to choose.
yeah.
Um, and most quarterbacks are gone. So we have McCarthy still available, but kind of no destination for him to go to, except this one team that we just talked about previously, Denver Broncos. I think this is a great pick
You
for
think
the
the
Denver
Broncos trade
Broncos.
up
I think this is
with
a great
what?
pick for Denver Broncos to trade up their first, their second, their first and their
They
second
don't have a
overall
second.
pick. No, I mean
They
their
don't
second
have a
overall
second.
pick, the second overall pick. So their third round pick, which is number 76.
Heck no.
And then they add in a future second round pick as well.
Can,
You're only moving up 3 spots. So you
can I
don't
ask you
have
a
to trade up
question?
first. Let me hear.
If the Commanders trade back, they have a lot of ammo, right? They trade back up. I can see
You're
that,
saying you're
but
saying you're saying
it's your pick. It's your pick. Pick the Broncos.
you're saying the Commanders. Okay, so since the Commanders have the number 11 overall pick now, you're saying that, hey, maybe the Commanders
No,
actually
no, the
trade up.
Commanders. In my world, the Commanders will have 13, but they'll have 13 in the Raiders' future.
I'm sorry,
I say
13.
they
Yes,
come
13.
back. I say they come back in. I want chaos, man, chaos. But
Yeah, I
give
don't know if
me,
they'll trade
yeah.
multiple trades, but I wouldn't put it past the
We
Commanders
just saw
because
the Cardinals
Adam
do it.
Peters. Yeah,
The
that's what I was
Cardinals do
gonna
it
say.
last year, and the
Yeah.
Texans did it last year.
Yeah,
So
so I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Peters does that.
yeah, I want chaos.
I think
But
he
yeah,
was
so
he was one of the big people on that Trey Lance trade too. He was a Trey Lancer truther. From
so we're
what
going
from what
Broncos
I've
McCarthy.
from what I've seen, I have the Broncos taking McCarthy here, this number 9 pick, and then to close it out,
Mm,
what do you have the Jets doing?
so McCarthy at 9. That's a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of offense. We have one defensive player, one offensive lineman. The Jets, I think it's gonna be tempting, man. I really do. These guys, everyone tells me they need help for Garrett Wilson. That's what everyone keeps telling me. Heck, I told you earlier that they didn't have a lot of offensive weapons.
Yeah,
They had a lot of guys that are built for Aaron Rodgers. I'm doing it, man. Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers. No, I can
I
definitely
just
see
think
that.
I just think it's too much fun. Like you get this Brock Bowers plays in New York. I mean, your Giants rival, New York rival just got Odunze in this thing. Um, yeah. Hey, so we did the first 10, right? You want me to recap or we think just get the recap?
No, we can recap. Do you want to? Do you ever? I'm typing that as right now as we speak.
Yeah, we
Um,
got Caleb going 1,
okay.
right?
To
I had the
Chicago.
I had the Raiders trading up to take Jaden Daniels at 2.
Okay.
Drake May 3 to the Patriots. Marvin Harrison 4. Malik Nabers 5. Odunze 6. Joe Alt 7. Jer'Zhan Newton 8. Brock Bowers 9.
Yeah. Wait. Hold on. Because the
Sorry.
Jer'Zhan one.
Newton's 8. McCarthy's 9. Excuse me.
So 6 is in Doomsday.
6 Odunze.
7 is
Joe Alt.
Joel. I did that. Joel, the Titans. 8 is Newton.
Jer'Zhan Newton.
9 is
McCarthy.
McCarthy. I have that.
Yeah,
So.
the Broncos trading
And then
up.
10 is Brock Bowers. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we will post this. So
So how many of these do you
we'll
think are right?
I mean, for sure the
2?
Caleb Williams one. I think I think 1, 2, 3. I think Drake made to New England is definitely happening. I mean, that definitely, you don't know, but like I think it's as a high likelihood of closing. We're talking like it's a deal. Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison goes to the Cardinals. I think it ultimately depends on what the Chargers do at 5.
I feel
That's
like 2
the
and
biggest
5.
thing.
I feel like
But
2
I
and
think
5 are the spots.
also I don't see the Falcons
2,
reaching for Newton that high. I just don't. I know they need an interior pass
we're gonna see,
rusher,
my friend.
but that's what
We're
they.
gonna
But
see.
that's why I was saying that they should go with La La two, La two from
We're
UCLA.
gonna see, man. We're gonna
So
see. Because
um
I think there's a reach here. I agree. but I'm curious if
I think we'll do 11 and
I
20,
think
and then we'll get a better feel of what the draft looks like for us. Draft's
yeah.
on Thursday, so we'll probably do 11 and 20 tomorrow, and then we'll probably do 21 through what 32, and release it on Wednesday or Thursday. So that
I
way
feel
we
like
can have it.
I really want to do 33 because the Panthers
Oh,
are
because the
right
Panthers
there, and
on the
that's the
pick.
only
Yeah,
pick.
yeah, 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 yeah. We can do 11
Yeah.
to 33. Yeah, we want to give the Panthers some love. All right, cool, perfect. I think we're good here. You have any last thoughts?
I'm just looking at the mock. I feel like I did reach reach at 8. But you know,
At,
I'm going
I
with
mean,
it
at 7 or 8.
because there's gonna be
Wait, hold on.
what the Falcons pick.
Yeah,
There's gonna be something's gonna shock us. I think,
yeah.
and I feel like the Falcons are the team to shock us. We're gonna look back and like, what the heck were they thinking type deal, or maybe it's the Giants. Like I was trying to pick who's gonna make the shock because
You're
there's
trying
gonna
to
be
be
something
right.
in
You're
there
trying to
that
be
we don't.
right. You're trying to be right. I see.
Well, I just think it's not gonna go like what we think it's gonna go. It always. I mean, I remember the craziest thing for me was Baker Mayfield going 1. I couldn't believe
Yeah.
that.
No
Reports
one
are
knew
out.
that he was going to go number 1.
Yeah, I
Zach
was.
Wilson
That's
going that high to the Jets too was was not talked about too much either.
I remember
But
Laramie Tunsil falling.
because of
The
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 marijuana.
Raiders. Every year, the Raiders. Like I remember they drafted Clelin Ferrell. I had never even heard of him.
Well, they did that last
Um,
year. They did that last year with the guy they drafted last
well,
year.
that guy, at least he was the
Yeah, you don't remember the guy's
I know it.
name.
I'm trying to think of it. I know he's a pass
Exactly.
rusher. They got him to be opposite of Max, and he was the
I
top ranked
mean,
guy for the
but
pass rusher.
he's productive wise. He
Wilson, Tyree Wilson, or something like that.
didn't do a lot in college, and like people were just like, oh, he has a great athleticism because his pro day was and his combine was so good.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think these are just mistakes that happened in the draft, and I wouldn't. I mean, I would love to be a GM, but you couldn't. I don't know if I would ever want to be a GM just because the pressure
I'd be so
situation is so
tempted
hard.
to. I'd be so tempted
Yeah,
to trade
yeah. I mean, you have to
down.
trade. I'll be
My
trading
thing
every
is,
single day.
I'd be
Because like
my thing.
you're trying to build a franchise team and you have limited time to do so. Like the offseason is not as
Like
long as people
last
think.
year, I'm looking at the draft last year, Joseph. The like Devon Witherspoon, 5 overall to the Seattle. Like
That was
I
a
didn't see that.
that was
I
a
didn't see that.
reach. It was a reach.
I
But
thought for sure
remember,
he would.
Seattle had
I
two
thought
first.
Jalen
Seattle
Carter.
had 2 first.
Yeah,
And also
I thought they
Jalen
would have
Carter
gone with
was
Jalen
falling in a
Carter.
lot of he was falling in a
But
lot
yeah,
of draft boards.
right.
So
Like Christian Gonzalez, I didn't think he'd fall. Like Emmanuel
Christian
Forbes
Gonzalez
was the
Christian
first
Gonzalez
corner.
was supposed
I was
to
shocked.
Christian
I
Gonzalez
was
was
like,
supposed to
whoa,
go before
you know.
Devin
So
Witherspoon. So yeah.
yeah,
So to your point,
Jahmyr Gibbs. I didn't think Jahmyr Gibbs was going to get drafted in the first round.
yeah.
I
So
thought
I
he was the
think
first. I
now
thought he was the
teams.
second. But it's
I think what we're seeing now is teams are a little bit more risky. I guess they're a little bit more. Before, like you would see a mock and it'd be accurate. I think over like the last 3 years, it's been pretty consistently like you don't know what's going to happen. Like
yeah, like the year before, Trayvon Walker went 1 overall.
Yeah, and
so
Trayvon Walker was not supposed to go number 1 overall. It was
Drake London was the first receiver taken in that draft.
Who was the second pick overall? What was in that draft?
Aiden Hutchinson was second, but
yeah, Aiden Hutchinson was supposed to go number 1.
Derek Stingley went before Sauce Gardner.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what is going on? So it's So there's
there's definitely gonna be a shocker in this next draft we have. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, people. Thanks for tuning in. Like before, we always say on our other videos, please like, subscribe, please add your opinions here, and share. If you guys have any follow-up questions you guys want to ask us, drop them in the comments. But we'll see you guys next time. All right, Zach.